All right, welcome in everybody. 27th of January. So we are smack in the beginnings of the off season here. And as always here in Notre Dame land, man, there's just always something going on. Mainly defensive coordinator, big topic of conversation right now. We have, to my knowledge and to my, what I've been seeing, we've got a leading candidate. Don't know if that's true, may or may not be, but Chris Ash, um, likely in the running to be a candidate and strong candidate to be the next defensive coordinator here at Notre Dame. Interesting, like looking at the guy's background, he has a ton of defensive back and secondary position coaching experience. Okay. Most recently, he was a scout for the Jaguars, but before that, he was defensive backs coach at the Las Vegas Raiders. Before that, safeties coach at the Jaguars. He was at Texas in 2020, defensive coordinator and safeties coach. So this guy's got experience. I think the pushback from a lot of us fans is, well, this isn't like a splash big name hire, which is okay. One of the things that I talked about earlier today with Connor, he's feeling a little under the weather, so he's not able to make the show tonight. I trust in Freeman to make the right call. Now, that does not mean that he can't make mistakes. And I do think that we are at a critical juncture right now to make this a hire that is the right one. So just as every single offseason that we've had up to this point in Freeman's tenure, this is a big deal. This is a big moment for Freeman to get this right. You've got Mickens basically sitting there waiting. Most people would think like he's the guy to do this. He's the guy to promote from within. Let him either take the DC job and continue to coaching safeties and corners, or let Mickens take the DC job and go get another corner and safeties coach and, have Mickens oversee that. That's kind of what I thought they would do, and they still might. We don't know. I think a big thing that Notre Dame is telling us here is we are not going to make any splash split-second decisions. We're going to take our time, figure this out, make sure we do our due diligence, and make sure that who we get and who we put in here is going to do a good job. Notre Dame's defense has been the backbone of this program for as long as I can remember. We have not had a high-flying, overpowering offense to where, hey, it doesn't matter if the defense gives up 30 or 35, we're going to score 40. Has not been the case. This defense has been the backbone, and it must stay that way. We want the offense to get better, but we cannot have the defense regress, and then all of a sudden CJ Carr or Minchie or whoever comes in and the offense is rolling, but our defense is lacking. This is a big moment for Freeman and a big hire that he has coming up here. And it's going to be very interesting. Chris Ash, tons of experience, but he's bouncing around. He can't really seem to stay in a spot from 2019 to 2024, Texas, Jacksonville Jaguars, Las Vegas Raiders, and then most recently a scout with the Jaguars. He was a co-defensive coordinator in 2014 with Urban at Ohio State when they won the title. So looking at that, of course, the guy's got experience. Is it the big splash hire that we want? I don't know. But what we want as fans and what Freeman and the program think as coaches and people running that program are two totally different things. So we see Chris Ash and everybody's thinking, who's that? 9 out of 10 people don't even know who that is. I was included in that. I didn't know who he was. So, this is a big hire. This is a critical moment. I just saw on Twitter that we've got some general manager news potentially coming out. It's kind of under wraps at this point in time, but man, these dominoes are starting to fall. We've got a defensive coordinator opening and a general manager opening. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, who would have thought we'd have GMs in college football? It's real. It's here. We have it. We're looking for one. We will be hiring one soon. So very interesting times. This offseason is getting off to a great start. What a great year we had. But man, this stuff is really interesting because this is affecting the game plan of the next year, 2, 3 years. One of the thoughts that I had with Connor last night, these defensive guys that just came for junior day, we have all these guys. They had to have been asking, who's our coach going to be? Who's the GM? Who am I going to for NIL stuff? What's my value looking like? These are all questions that were being thrown at Freeman and thrown at the coaching staff. I trust them. They can navigate it, but that doesn't mean that mistakes can't happen. This is Freeman's first time going through this. Now, as the head coach, he's got a lot riding on this. Okay. Man, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Let me see. Yeah, just looking at our defensive commits. Yeah, 2025 and 2026. Man, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. News is going to start breaking. Again, we're late into the season, so who knows how many guys are out there? How many guys are locked in? How many guys are just not willing to take interviews or take calls? I wouldn't say that a lot of guys are, well, we're not going to take that call if Notre Dame is calling. If Notre Dame reaches out, most times you're going to have the ears to listen. Okay. So, man, we'll see how this shakes out. I'm excited. I think that Freeman's going to make the right move, but it is critical. We talked about this yesterday's show. What we built in 2024, 2025 season must be sustained. We cannot take any steps back. That's why this hire is so critical. Golden had things rolling. He had it rolling. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The defense is one of the main, if not the main reason why we made it to the title this year. We cannot afford to go backwards. The recruits, the young guys we have in there, this is a young defense, an aggressive, athletic, young defense that needs to maintain that. Is Freeman asking the players? Who knows? I do know that the players went to Jack when Freeman got hired and they said, this is our guy or else you're making the wrong move. They said that to Jack. Jack hired him. Look where we are now. So I don't know. All arrows pointed to Mike Mickens. All of them. Every arrow pointed to Mike Mickens. When Al Golden leaves, Mike Mickens is ready to go. Still might be the case, but clearly Freeman is going through his process to get to his decision. Now, I will say this. If Chris Ash comes and we lose Mickens, not going to be a good look. In my opinion, we cannot afford to lose Mike Mickens. He has been such a dynamic recruiter and dynamic coach for that secondary, something that I never saw in my entire life. The secondary we have is the best I have seen in 32 years. Okay? We got to keep that going. We can't afford it. Other schools are coming after Mickens for a DC job. If he can't get that, or he's not going to leave and take that, you better, at bare minimum, if you hire somebody else and you're Notre Dame, please, Marcus, make Mickens the co-DC at bare minimum. Give him the pay raise, give him the title, give him what he wants, because if you go somewhere in another direction with this DC, you better put Mickens there next. That's my thoughts on it. Now, one of the questions I had is, if a Jim Knowles were to come, that's not happening, he's going to Penn State, he wouldn't be willing to take the title of co-DC. He just won a national title at Ohio State. He's going to Penn State to try to do the same thing. He is not going to be a co-defensive coordinator, okay? Now, Chris Ash comes in. Maybe he's a little more apt to say, you know what, I'm going to come in as co-DC. My primary responsibilities will be defensive coordinator, but I am open to being a co-DC with Mike Mickens. If you do that in your Notre Dame, I'm okay with that. You went outside to bring in a DC, fine, but you kept a critical, crucial part of the team that's already there. The secondary guys, the defense, they jive with Mickens. You know that they do. So to risk potentially losing him entirely by hiring another DC, I just don't know. So we'll have to see how this shakes out. It's going to be very interesting to tell. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. We should see some news breaking soon. We got to get the spring ball. It's coming around the corner. The Blue Gold game is in a few months. So we got to get this thing rolling, get this thing established, get into off-season winter workouts, get into winter, programming, conditioning, all that good stuff. We got to get into all that. We need a DC and we need a GM. Back on the recruiting trail. Notre Dame's got a lot of work to do, and I think that they're ready to go. The good news is we got a young coach who's excited and fired up every single day to do this. He lives, breathes, sleeps Notre Dame football. You can't ask for more. Marcus is a workhorse. I don't doubt it at all. He'll make the right choice. All right, guys. Shorter episode today, but that's all right. Connor was feeling a little bit under the weather. We will be back tomorrow with new updates regarding this scenario, the DC GM stuff. We're going to be constantly monitoring this situation to get you guys the news as quickly as we can. As always, thank you for the likes, comments, subscribes. If you guys have something to say, put it in the chat. Put it on the comment. Follow us on X. We are living and breathing Notre Dame football 24/7, 365. We love this stuff. We talk about it all day. We think about it all day. We would love nothing more than you to be a part of it, to interact with us. Let us know what you think. Ask us. Bring your questions. Whatever you've got for us, we're happy to discuss with you. But anyways, hope that's a slightly good update for you. And as always, go Irish, and we'll talk to you guys on the next one.